Sure. Yeah, I'm not seeing it up here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now I'm waiting to hear if I can hear us. Sure. Oh, yeah, I'm not seeing it up here. I'm not hearing you. You're talking, but I got nothing. Okay. So now I'm waiting to hear if I
There
can
we
hear us.
go. Yeah, I know I couldn't get it to play, but fuck it. We got it working. We are competent podcasts slash streamers, and we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing, probably.
Yeah, I know I couldn't get it to play.
Oh. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
And welcome to Hopeful Resistance, where every week is an adventure in technological. We are learning as we go, folks.
Someday there's gonna be a guy for this, and he's gonna know. He's gonna know
That's
what he's
right.
doing.
Someday we are going to have an executive producer.
We're gonna have a fucking guy, and he's gonna know how to work this stuff.
That's right.
Ugh.
But until that moment, we get to blame everything that goes wrong on you.
Yes, all me.
I like that
Thousand
kind of.
percent my fault.
That's right. That's right. The
Uh.
albatross around my neck was hung. Well, hello again. Welcome to Hopeful Resistance. My name is Sarah, and this is Aaron,
I.
my host, son, and technical director, who
Could
will
you
soon be
could you
honored as.
imagine if you fucking paid me to do this?
And I would absolutely and immediately demand my money back. I believe I would hit a reverse on that credit
Yeah,
card charge.
yeah. I'd be like, nah, dog.
Yeah. Yeah. So Aaron and I, we like to explain a little bit about. We have had weekly chats for nearly a year now, talking about the election, talking about the country, the culture of the country. And in January of 25, we thought, hey, you know what? Part of our resistance is going to be, Aaron, you are like all fuzzy.
Oh, is my focus freaking out?
Yep, your focus is freaking out.
All right, I'll fix it. Go ahead. Keep
Thanks to our technical director, we've all been distracted about the purpose and function of our podcast.
Yeah, and that's a camera problem. I don't know why the focus is supposed to be automatic. There we go.
It is. It's just trying to figure out who you are. It's just trying to cipher out who you are.
That's actually a camera problem. Okay, that's not actually
It's not me.
that's not actually me.
Get you a black Sharpie. We can correct that immediately.
Yeah, there we go. See, you're figuring it out.
I know, right? So anyway, January 2025, Aaron and I decided that recording these weekly conversations that we have is part of our hopeful resistance, on top of the many things that we do and we encourage you to do. And we talk about all the ways that you can resist in whatever aspect makes sense to you. We try to remain hopeful. We do have weeks where that's a bit of a struggle. And we also try to break
True.
in meaningful ways. What is the bat shit stuff going on? What ass hattery is going on this week? And so today we're going to talk about MAGA's magic marker, the magic Sharpie that they're using. And it is absolutely astonishing how organized, wide ranging, and often state sanctioned the use of the MAGA Sharpie is to rewrite or erase history. So
Yeah, especially the rewriting. We talked about this briefly on the cocktails episode. I mean, it. I think the one that pops into my head immediately is all the stuff with Alexander Acosta and the live on CNN being like, it was in 2009, and then the CNN guy going, no, it wasn't. It was in 2008, whenever Bush was president.
yeah, right. Well, and I think what's interesting is
That was with Pan Bondi. That was
so we've got.
the plea deal.
I'm sorry.
That was actually with Pan Bondi. The 2008, that was with Pan Bondi. That was the plea deal. I'm mixing that up between the. Whenever.
Okay, do we need to start over again?
No.
Do we? Okay, so you're mixing up the.
I'm mixing up the Alexander Acosta and the Pam Bondi thing because Acosta was the one. I think it's probably both of them for that one because he was the one that led to Epstein's initial pardon, and that was whenever Bush was president, and Pam Bondi was the district attorney. And then now, but then in 2020, yeah, that's whenever Epstein killed himself, and that was whenever Trump was president and Acosta was the Secretary of Labor.
I think it was 2019. But I want to back up and say today we're going to talk about 12 verifiable instances of where MAGA is attempting to rewrite history. What Aaron's bringing up is when we had our last cocktail hour, he had made a pretty healthy list of 3 or 4 instances where MAGA had rewrote history, and one of them was definitely in regard to the Epstein files and who was where and who did what. And so I think that's a perfectly good place. We have done an entire episode on Epstein, but we would be remiss if we did not start with some of these top of mind MAGA rewrites. So why don't you start and go through that just a little?
Um. Okay. Sorry. I have a list, and there was one actually on your list that I thought was really good was the way that they are trying to reframe January 6th.
Uh,
Where they I like okay, they tried to reframe it as, oh, well, they let them into the building and they were giving them a tour. Why does everybody think that like it was a
I
riot?
don't know. Could it be because they were like using things to smash down windows
Yeah,
and they
that was the Proud Boys. That was the Proud Boys. They were standing on top of his shoulders. He had a fucking baton and he's like beating the window open because they were coordinated trying to break into the building. Yeah, there was no the peaceful tour that everybody's talking about was after they had already broken into the building and after 2 police officers had been seriously injured. They just let them in the building. They were just like, okay, we're not gonna die. We're just
I want to repeat that because honestly, I feel a certain sense of astonishment that makes what you say to me just now. It's you're saying that the MAGA insurrection was rebranded as a patriotic protest
as a yes.
and that after what we saw on TV with people breaking in the windows, basically storming the Capitol, busting open the front doors, hurting police officers, that they said, "Hey, you know what? Those folks are waiting for a tour. Now's a really good time to do it."
Yeah, that's probably the part of it too that I think is like even more fucking insane is there was no fucking tour. And even if there was, no, you know what? Just I'm not even gonna grant that. I'm just not even gonna grant it. There was no fucking tour. It's a rewriting of history. It's a lie. It's not true. They forced their way into the building.
So this is literally, and I will say that this was an attempted coup. I mean, the timeline. You okay? You got
Yeah, I got
something?
something stuck in my teeth.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
I should have had it out by now.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to put dental floss on your list of things to keep at your desk, I
That's a good
think.
idea.
I
I have toothpicks.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
I mean, I could get really close to the mic. We can make ASMR Aaron picking food out of his teeth.
I
At least
am.
I'm sitting back so people don't have to
Yeah,
hear
that
it.
is all. Yeah. Oh, folks, can you tell we've had a long week? So, I think the reason that it matters, though, is I think it's super important that we recognize that this isn't just spin. Uh, this is attempted, brainwashing, I think, and it's certainly successful with the people who will do anything and believe anything to support the current administration. But it was an attempted coup, and I think the fact that multiple judges put these people in prison, uh, I don't know, they had evidence, they had court transcripts, the January 6th committee report, public speeches by Trump. I mean, There was a guy in Europe who tracked Trump's language that day, and he made a um,
Yeah, he said like fight. You gotta fight like hell. You
well,
know.
what he did is he made a spreadsheet that showed what Trump did and what happened in real time and the correlation between those two.
Yes.
And
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 sorry. Go ahead.
it's okay. Well, just, we often say correlation is not causation. And in this case, I think that there is a direct correlation to to what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then there's what I was good. There's all the other parts of it, right? So after they had broken into the Capitol building and Congress is, the members of Congress are like, saying call in the National Guard. I mean, it was what, 3 hours before he finally called in the National Guard, and it
And
was
at the time,
only after his children called him and were like, "You what? Call the National Guard, Dad? Come on." And I want to say something because we've said this before, and I want to say this again. If it had been true, the January 6th protesters, rioters would have been justified in what they did, right? If the election was actually being stolen, I could that if the entire thing hadn't been based on a lie, then their behavior would have been justifiable.
100%.
The problem is that it was based on a lie, and rather than believing what the truth was, they were choosing to believe what Trump said, and
But
that's
remember, the truth there, the lie was based on the addiction that they have to conspiracy theories.
mm-hmm,
And so the conspiracy theories won. And back to what we talk about all the time, the behavior, the behavioral aspect of, gosh, I need to mute that. The behavioral aspect of how diehard MAGA is drawn to conspiracy theories. I don't understand it, so I'm going to write up a story about it. I don't like it, and so I'm going to make up a conspiracy about why it can't be right.
right. And then we talked about that on the cocktails too, where it's like the difference, plow versus a tractor versus
Well, and let's just say, okay, my life isn't good, the economy isn't good, so it must be the immigrants and the poor people's fault.
yeah,
Okay. All right, let's
yeah,
let's pick another one. So one of my favorite ones is MAGA's attempt to rewrite history with the book bans and the curriculum censorship in red states.
yes,
So again, notes, research, trying to stay
yeah. I
focused here.
actually have the here. I will. All right.
No, no, we're
I
just
am.
gonna put. Oh, you're gonna put up the
Yeah, I'm
table?
just putting the table up.
Okay. So this is number 5 on a list of 12. But under the guise of fighting wokeness or the critical race theory, MAGA legislations and school boards in the red states, like Texas, Florida, and Tennessee, have banned or restricted books that include LGBTQ plus themes, racial injustice, or accurate portrayals of U.S. history. And by I do not even want to hear one single fucking word about the extremes. Yes, there are books that should be banned. I would be ridiculous if I didn't say that. I
At
would
least at
also say
least in school libraries. And
public libraries should never have any book banned. They should
yes.
perhaps have a list where you need a parental approval to
Well,
check it
and
out.
and I've actually talked to this some of my friends extensively about the concept of like I think it depends on the grade. And yeah, actually this is a probably decent example. You know how like if you've ever read the Harry Potter books, if you couldn't tell I'm a Harry Potter fan, you ever read the Harry
Mhm.
Potter books, there's a forbidden section in the library at Harry Potter. You have to be like at least a fifth year and you have to have a teacher's note in order to access the restricted section. You could do something like that in public schools, but instead of it being a teacher's note, or it would have to be a parental consent, like a
But I think
parent's.
beyond the mechanics of how kids could access banned books and how we would not ban books, I think it's important to understand the impact of banning books
Right.
and curriculum censorship. It matters because they limit access to factual information for students, especially around the civil rights movement, the indigenous homicide or genocide, and systemic racism. It is a It's a classic. It is like textbook, no pun intended, textbook authoritarianism move. And what ends up happening, it controls the historical narrative. And also, how do people develop critical thinking? People develop critical thinking by being challenged in what they believe.
Yes.
So let's say you believe that the wall behind you is red, and I'm going to explain to you why it's not. The way you develop your critical thinking skills is you do a little research on what is red, how do we see red, how many shades of red are there,
Right.
and all I am doing, because I'm trying to control you, I'm just telling you no. Nope, nope,
Nope. Sorry. Not true.
nope, sorry. And so when we restrict children's access to ideas that may go against what they're being taught at home, or against what may feel comfortable, we're giving them an opportunity to develop critical thinking skills. But let's be honest, your average MAGA, no, even your not average MAGA, most MAGAs, most people who support Trump do not want to hear slavery was bad and all the horrific things that happened to slaves, because they would rather believe the narrative that the slaves had a good time on the plantations. They enjoyed their life. They had a good life.
Yeah, I, I this was actually a thing that I remember being, and actually, I don't know if you knew this. So I grew up in, not doxing myself, I grew up in Mansfield, Texas, and Mansfield, Texas, for those that may not know, was one of the last cities in the country to segregate or desegregate.
Yes.
And I still remember being, and that was in like the 80s, or it was
It
like
was so stupid late.
it was
I mean,
basically to the point where the
embarrassing late.
yeah,
Embarrassing.
it was basically to the point where the federal government's like, if you don't, we're gonna bring in the National Guard. Like you're going to do this.
Right.
And I still remember whenever they taught in high school, in history class, after the slaves were freed, they didn't know what to do. They didn't have anywhere to go. So the
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 plant
kind and caring plantation owners gave them a job and a house, and somewhere to sleep and a field for them to work.
sharecropping
Yeah, and they paid them.
forward of indentured servitude.
Yes. And I
Well,
still
let's
remember
do
that was
that.
taught like in high school.
And that's what I'm saying. Book bans, curriculum censorship is a form of rewriting history. And when we talk about, the control over the education, it is such a heinous, deep cut into the mental, the potential for mental growth and educational exposure. I don't know how people aren't.
Aren't like more upset about it.
Well, I know the different segments are upset about, there's Ms. Frazzled, who is fantastic on social. She is an influencer on social media who is fighting tooth and nail for the Department of Education. But anyway, back to the list. So that's mine. So we talked about January 6th. We talked about the book bans. Did you put up the chart and I missed
Yeah,
it, or is it
yeah,
up?
it's up. I also
Oh, it's
adjusted where we're at on the share screen because of the watermark. My face was covered, so I moved us.
maybe that could be a good thing.
Yeah, you would say that. Just
All
remember,
right.
I looked very similar to you, so.
I know, right? I know, that's right. That was so funny. So we want to say hi, Allison, if you're watching. Hi,
Yeah,
Allison.
hi.
Okay, so which one on this list would you like to do next? I don't know. I think I'd like to talk about the firing of the Bureau
Oh,
of Labor.
is that on this list? Probably not, because that just happened.
No, it is on the list.
Where
It's number two.
which
It
one
was
is it?
it was like one of my big
Oh,
things.
okay, two.
Okay,
Yeah,
is that your
so the funny thing about that too, somebody pointed out that it was pretty common. I I feel like this comparison has kind of lost all of its like it's
No,
lost how bad
it's got
comparing
no more.
Trump to Hitler has lost all value because of how much he's compared to Hitler. But
Well, it's. I mean, honestly, I think people are desensitized to it. I think
yeah,
they're like, meh. Meh.
eh.
Well, hell,
People doing the Nazi salute on Twitter, whatever.
MAGA's embraced the pedophile. So I mean, where
Well,
else can we
yeah,
go?
that's it. We
I don't care
basically,
if he's Hitler. I don't care if he's Hitler.
yeah. But so yeah, it was. I mean, Hitler did the same thing whenever he was in power. He, if someone within his government, said or reported something that was counter to the propaganda that he was trying to spread, then he fired them and replaced them with someone that would say what he
Well,
wanted.
and again, we need to tie this into the MAGA rewrite of history with this big black Sharpie that is state sanctioned, and in this case, federally sanctioned. Somebody in the government has produced numbers that the administration doesn't like or agree with. And so now, I mean, this is, the food that it provides to the conspiracy theorists of, well, the numbers were being rigged. If it's something I don't like, if I don't like it, then the numbers are rigged.
But what's so crazy to me is that now that if they were to continue following their conspiracies, they would actually be. I guess they wouldn't be right. I mean, I guess that's the thing about it is like.
Here's my thing. You, when this report is created, if I understand how this works, the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics has to say where they got the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, someone can check her.
Yeah.
It isn't like she just comes out with, hey, yeah, there were only 73,000 jobs and
And
you
it's
just
only
need to
and it was
trust
only
me.
supposed to be a compiling. Like that's the other part of it too. Is it's not like
Not
it's
like she's
her job
calculating.
to get the jobs going. It's her job just to report
And
the
this is kind of like
amount.
neutral fact. These are neutral facts.
Yeah.
And so now, in typical MAGA fashion, they're distrusting neutral facts. And let's be honest, it's absolutely paving the way for politicized economic reports.
Right.
And I mean, Trump's doing it right now. Oh, the economy's great, and there's jobs everywhere, and you can hear the MAGAs parroting it, but every single supporter of the administration is saying, I mean, the MAGAs are saying, yeah, yeah, make America great. We're on our way. We're on our way. And the people who were on the fringes are like, what the fuck, dude? I'm paying, $10 for a dozen eggs,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah. Well, that was like whenever he said, "Oh, well, in two or three states, the price of gas is down to $1.99," and everybody, people are like,
everybody
"Where?
is like, yeah,
What state is that?"
I will absolutely run my ass down to that. I don't care what.
I'll fucking drive there just to get a picture of it, just to get the gas.
But I think this is like, okay, so we talked about, the January 6th. I mean, again, folks, we're not just talking about the events, we're talking about why it matters. The reason it matters that the rewrite of a coup based on misinformation is that it was a violent coup based on misinformation.
Yes.
Okay? The
Yes.
second thing we talked about, which was uh, the banning the books and the controlling the curriculum, because when you control history, you are not acknowledging the missteps of history, and you are paving the way for there to be state sanctioned history that has no basis in the truth.
Right.
And okay, somebody's clawing her way up my lap. Say hello. Say
Hi.
hello. Hello.
Hello.
I know she no. And then now we're talking about the firing of the Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner. And this paves the way for political economic reports. We must insist on neutral data. And I mean, the fact that the woman who compiled this, um,
Was
you know,
bipartisan.
bipartisan, you know, and her numbers could have been checked. The knee-jerk reaction to fire her versus, hey, I don't like those numbers. I'm going to send in one of my people to double check your work. That seems like a more realistic
Well,
response.
and what the thing that would have made that more interesting is what if they did find out that she had. Then he would be able to. Then like he could have
Okay,
used
thank
that.
you. Thank you, because I'm thinking, if she had fudged that, you're just accusing her of rigging it.
Hmm?
But if you would have said, hey, we found, and here is the evidence that she rigged it, okay, that seems pretty powerful leverage. But no, you fired her because you didn't like the numbers.
Yeah. And instead of and then he still goes on live TV and says, "Oh, well, I think she made him up." He still said that.
From the guy who just makes shit up as he
Yeah, I mean
goes.
that's like his whole brand. That's best.
It's okay. It's okay, right? Okay, so yeah, you're not coming up here again, and I'm not sure why you're acting like that. Um I the summary, okay, there's a thing I want to talk about a little bit out of order. Oh, well,
We've been out of order anyway, so
right, right. So where is it? Oh, the whole thing about the impeachments. That wasn't what I was looking for, but where the Smithsonian.
oh
Uh,
yes.
okay, now I will tell you, I do have the update where the Smithsonian said, "Hey, look, we took that placard down, but we have not taken down the mention of Trump in the impeachment section." But um, the MAGA attempt to rewrite history was calling those two impeachments hoaxes. And I will say many Republicans think he was fully exonerated. And that is absolutely
Well,
not accurate.
and I think it's also people's failure to understand. I mean that was like whenever the people were all pissed off because the House wouldn't push through an impeachment. What was it, like a month ago?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like y'all
Yeah.
are failing
We're in the
to.
middle of the voting on the HR1 bill. It's like, let's push against the HR1 bill and then we'll talk impeachment. Although it's important to remember that even though many presidents have been impeached, not one single president has been removed from office because of it.
Yeah, most of them resigned, right? Well, they all resigned. I
Um,
guess they all resigned, but yeah.
right. And honey, what is your problem?
You're talking and you're not
I
talking to her.
know. So talk about the alternate COVID-19. Let's do a little
Yeah,
summary.
it's all right. I've got the notes on that. I'm gonna switch over to my notes. Because we talked about this. You can see I have. So we talked about this whenever uh, uh not. I don't think we did our cocktail. I think we did it on the one before.
We talked about it I think we started it talking about it at the cocktail hour
Yeah,
Friday.
and I mean, and these are basically the same notes that I talked about in that episode. But the thing that always gets me whenever we talk about this is that the two points that MAGA loves to tout are contradictive to each other, and that's honestly in my mind that's the thing that also makes it like you can tell that like that some of these people are just narcissists because it comes down to like that narcissist creed of things where it's like okay, even if it was a thing, well, it wasn't that bad, and if it was that bad, you know what I mean? Um, then
Oh yeah.
if it was that bad, well, then the vaccine was worse, and it's just like okay. So the first one is, and it's not actually on this list that I made, but it's the one that I don't think we brought up was like the rewriting of history portion of this is actually that people forget that Trump was the president that pushed the speedy vaccines.
Right.
And he even at one point tried to promote the vaccine because he was the one that did that had basically done like the fast track on it. And whenever he had done that, his supporters like booed him,
Well, and let's
and
be
then he
honest,
never
I
did
mean,
it again.
he never did it again. I mean, he was talking about how they're the the US response was the best in the world, and we're going to get all this done. And then he found out that his base didn't like it, that masks were unnecessarily, masks were authoritarianism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whole world is masking, dude. The entire world is masking.
Yeah. Well, and they just use that as the see, because again, it's that whole thing of I
Well,
am on the outside. I know the truth.
and the whole if I had a dollar for every time a MAGA said, well, if you really knew, you just don't have good data. You don't have good sources.
Yes.
If you knew the truth
Yeah.
about the moon landing,
And
about
then I'm always
JFK,
like, and then you do this too. I'm always like, okay, well then send me
every
what you
time I've
got.
asked, there is no one I have. And listen, if a MAGA's watching, which I doubt if they are, but if a MAGA's watching and you have sources, you know what? I'll send you a dollar. I'll pay you a dollar to send me a good thing. But I will tell you the other thing that drives me nuts is that the vaccines are poison, even though, to your point, even though Trump supported, Operation Warp Speed, I believe was his name for it.
Yes.
And so, and I know MAGA supporters who screamed about taking the vaccine, that they weren't going to take it, that nobody should have to take it. Um, and the number of medicines that they're on, or the people who are more than happy to take Ozempic, or the people who are on, 10
Yeah, or
different kind of.
the ivermectin. That was the thing I didn't actually hit on, and it's on my list. Was that people were trying to say that
Yeah.
ivermectin actually did cure it, even though there was like a bunch of studies that basically um, showed that it didn't, and that it actually led to harming people. And that was the thing with the vaccines too. They tried to claim there was going to be all this mass harm, and then there
Well,
wasn't.
the important thing to remember about the whole ivermectin thing and people who got harmed is they're taking it in stupid doses. Okay, they're not taking like a pill. They're not. I mean, they're taking a ridiculous amount,
Yeah,
and
because
so
they're having to buy it as the horse dewormer because it's a schedule. It has to be prescribed in order to take it any other way. But you can go and buy it at like what is it, what is that,
you know what?
farm
Yeah,
supplies. You can just buy it at a farm supply store.
yeah. So I think when we talk about pushing alternate COVID, history, I think the reason it matters is because this was recent, folks. This is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And rewriting a recent public health crisis into a political, narrative that if you were loyal, then you followed the no vaccines, like and take, like, I'm sure, who's Fauci? Yeah, I'm sure he went to school thinking, boy, one day I am going to be able to deceive the entire country
Yes.
with some kind
Yes.
of narrative about this stuff. And
True.
so you can hear my dog. Can you hear her
No.
barking?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. She's losing her shit. She's getting fed. That's why they were bothering me. They were hungry.
Oh, gotcha.
Um, okay, so we talked about COVID. So let's talk about, we can't talk about everything, but oh, well, I think the stolen 2020 election feeds into the January 6th.
Those are one and the same.
They're pretty much the same thing. Okay, the one I wanted to talk about that actually started this whole research was the removal or minimization of women and minorities in the National Park Service historic guides
Oh
and
yes, I've seen this. I've
in
seen this talked about.
military libraries where they were taking them out there. I think there were a few other places where they literally removed pages that referred to women and minorities, and they did it because of the equity, diversity, and inclusion opposition.
Right.
And, and I'm going to read this because I thought it was important. Under the current administration, they blah, 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 blah. They revised, removed, or downplayed references to enslaved people, indigenous populations, and women in favor of more patriotic or heroic narratives centered on guess who? Just think, just pick a
The
pick
Confederacy. I don't know.
Pick
I'm
a
just.
color and gender. You
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna go historical, and we're talking
no,
about like, yeah.
no,
I
because
gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
downplayed references to enslaved people, indigenous populations, and women in favor of more patriotic
Yeah. White men,
or
Christian white men.
Christian white men. What a shock. And so here's an example, which I think is important. Interpretive materials at sites like the Independence Hall and the Jefferson Memorial blah, 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 had revised language that softened or erased any references to slavery. Any references to slavery.
See, and this is the thing that I think is like kind of. I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. This is the thing that the right loves to use to try and be all like, see, they hate white men, and it's like, no, I think what you're missing is not it is all of the things that are attached to the white men that the administration is choosing to promote. Like, why are we promoting white slave owners? Why aren't we, if fine, you want to go Christian white men, why are you promoting the white slave owners and not maybe, white men who fought against slavery, or white men that killed Nazis, or like all of the other white men that you could pick? So
You could
yeah,
you're picking, this certain group of people
yes.
that engaged in some
You're,
heinous
you're,
stuff.
you're picking like the worst ones you could pick.
The interesting thing about this removal or minimization of women and minorities, I know, although let's be honest, in the world, white people are the minority, and I think that's important to understand that in the world, white people are the minority, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Okay, why it matters. Again, why does it matter? Because we defer back to the state-controlled narrative of your heritage. Your heritage is, oh, we're white supremacy, the white people, we brought in religion and we brought in all these good things and we brought in
Yes.
the plantations that cultivate, like, of course, because the Indians didn't survive for how many thousands of years before we got here,
Yeah.
hunting and gathering and
Oh, but
living.
mom, those people were savages. We came in and we saved them.
You say,
Yeah. The we came in and we rescued them from their savagery. That's I'm saying that as that's what they believe.
I've heard it. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, and that's the whole colonial mindset, is that we brought in religion, because of course
Yeah, we
the
brought in
Indian.
modern society, and what escapes me is that people is the failure to understand that, yeah, okay, we brought in a modern age, but the way that at which we went about it was
So let
super
me say
fucked up.
what was modern, because let me pause. You pause for a minute. Let me make my point. What was modern? Because when we arrived, the Indians had a rich culture. All right, they had lovely villages. They had rich cultures. They had a robust, medical, health, like, system within each of their tribes. Just beautiful art, beautiful music. I mean, so what did we bring in? A different way to live in a house?
Yeah, well,
A
and I
different,
mean, I'll if we're gonna talk. We brought in more bad than good, but we did bring in cultivation because they weren't cultivating crops. They were still nomadic. So,
okay.
and cultivation is the method by which mankind, globally, was able to
In
start.
like farming
Yeah,
cultivation.
yeah, yeah. And that's what enabled mankind as a whole to basically start living in one place. So rather than moving around to follow the migration of your food, you instead were able to stay in one spot. Uh,
Because we
and and the
that's
the Indians did cultivate on a much smaller scale, and most because you had like mines and stuff and people talk, but the Indians weren't cultivating that. They were finding it in the wild. And they're
Mhm.
um I just if again
I
it
don't I
my
don't
my
disagree.
problem my problem is that we the way that we did it is the problem, not what we
Well,
did.
it's the way that the white man's always done it. What happened to,
Yeah,
in
the Aztecs or the Yeah.
Aztecs, when the Spaniards came over.
Well, a lot of Africa, whenever France was taking over,
We destroy things, we enslave
we
people,
have to
we
bring the word of God to these heathen savages that don't believe in the Lord.
yeah, and we're gonna put them on the rack and
Yeah. We're going
torture
to
them
give
until
them blankets
we're
that
gonna
are
torture
infected with
them until they
smallpox.
we're gonna torture them until they accept that God is love.
Yes. And I mean, if it, and it happened everywhere. It happened here. It happened in Canada. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Now here was a new one for me that popped up when I was doing some research, and I want to read this because it's terrifying. PragerU, and if you're not familiar with it,
I know what PragerU is.
they expanded into K-12 curriculum, and they've completely erased historical figures or have recast them. So Florida and Oklahoma are two of the states that have approved PragerU curriculum, and it's called the kids videos, and they've whitewashed figures like Christopher Columbus. They've claimed slaves were treated well. They've portrayed historical figures like such as Frederick Douglass as opposing modern progressive causes, despite, of course, overwhelming evidence to the contrary. In fact, it matters because this is actual disinformation passed off as education, and it's part of Project 2025 to replace pluralistic civic values. Like, we can have multiple things true in the same culture.
Right.
Not everybody has to have this rigid nationalist worldview, Christian nationalism. And so it's so important that we understand that this rewriting isn't just rewriting history. It is an attempt to manipulate the memory, the cultural memory, the social memory of who we are, where we came from, how we got here, why we got here, where we're going, where we want to go. And people are too fucking lazy to do the research to figure out that they're
Right.
being lied.
Yeah, no, PragerU. I mean, you can go find them on YouTube. The stuff that they say a lot of the times is definitely sold to you, and it's also
Have
sold
you
to you.
watched one of those videos?
Yeah,
Go with you. That is the most terrifying thing I ever saw.
and it's the way that they sell it is like in the most cheery, upbeat, fun-loving way.
It's the
Oh
creepiest.
yeah, yeah,
So it's creepy.
yeah.
Um.
But that false smile that you get whenever you meet like people that are in cults. Like I say cult that are in cults where they're like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we're gonna
Oh
help
yeah,
you."
trust me. Trust me. We're gonna help you.
Yeah.
You just come over here and get in the van. Come. I have
Go over here and
candy.
drink the punch,
Come
okay?
on, drink
Just drink the
Kool-Aid.
punch.
We have really good Kool-Aid. I mean, this is so is this terrifying and depressing and scary? Yes. But you know what? We always end every show, or we start to wrap up every show with, what the flying fuck are we gonna do about it? What the hell can we do about this?
Yes, always.
I want to start with some of the simple things because Aaron will say this later, but it's easy to think that you might think, okay, I'm too old or disabled or tired or scared to go out and protest or make a phone call. You know what? You don't have to.
Yeah.
Find a local group that's doing protesting and say, hey, can I make signs for you? Can I bake cookies for you? The point of resisting isn't always that you have to be at the forefront. It takes everybody to resist. Do we need to have a large group of people who are calling their representatives and protesting in person? Hell yeah. But that doesn't always have to be you. There are things that you can do, research you can do. If you see mis or disinformation, research it, even if you just research it for yourself so that you're like, that doesn't sound right, and then and then if the opportunity arises, you can share that. um, Aaron uses an app called Five Calls. You want
Yeah.
to describe?
So 5 calls, I think it's probably the best or at least the easiest way for you to be able to get in contact with your rep. It's literally just an app you download on your phone. I know we have like a million apps, so I get it. Oh, another app. Yeah, another app. But fortunately, it's not an app that's like doing something menial, right? Like I get frustrated. I know I'm going off topic. I get it. I've heard this
Okay.
complaint before. There are apps, plenty of apps that are just like these useless shithole apps that don't really do anything for you. And there are apps that you probably use every day that are like this super valuable app that you're really glad you have. And I would say that Five Calls leans more towards an app you would be glad to have. Um, it you put in where you live, and it basically tells you what district you're in. It tells you who your house rep is. It tells you who your senators are, and it gives you phone numbers to all of them. And then it goes further than that by giving you topics that you can call them about if you're concerned about them. So if you're concerned, say you were concerned about HB1 back whenever it was coming out. They had like a thing. You could just tap it. It would give you kind of like a breakdown of what HB1 was doing and some of the concerns and what economists were saying and all of that. And then it would give you the phone number to your reps at the bottom, and then you could click on them and you could call them, and it would even give you a script that you could basically be like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah," and then it would give you all of the things, where like you could just read it, read the list, and then
Well, I think one of the most important things that you pointed out is that for the people who don't feel like talking to somebody, whether you're just not in the
yes,
mood to talk to somebody, you're afraid to talk to somebody, you're too angry to talk to somebody, you can call. Okay, what are you doing here? You can call before or after office hours and you can leave a message. And the only caveat to that is that you have to give your address so that they can verify that you're actually in their district.
yeah, yes.
So
That
beyond the
because that's the big one. I mean, that I know tons of people that were like, "Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to talk to an aide, or I don't want to get mad at somebody." Like, and I was just
Right.
like, if you call whenever they're closed, just make sure you leave your address, and you
And
can
I
say
will
the
say,
same
I
thing.
certainly, I have known people who've made phone calls, and the folks in the office argue with them, and they are rude to them, and so I can understand where somebody
Yeah,
doesn't want to have a confrontation. In addition to the Five Calls app, there's a group called indivisible.org, and you can go to their website, and it helps connect people in the community. You can get connected with other like-minded people. It gives you, there's actually a guide that we downloaded, and I should probably link that to our show page. There are ideas for how to resist, all the way from, calling your rep and getting involved in protests down to the things we've talked about that are super simple. There's an organization called the Card Campaign. It's actually called the Card Campaign for Democracy. And they have digital files that you can print and use as leave behind. So you go to get your oil changed, you have some of these cards in your pocket, and they have what we do here, myths, disinformation, and then the actual facts and figures that counter the myth and disinformation that you might be hearing. 5501 is the website that you go to if you are up for a protest. What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
no, I mean indivisible. I actually used that website whenever I was going to the No Kings, because
Yeah.
because they'll actually call and remind you, and if you give them your phone number, they'll text you. I didn't need all that because I was, I'd already I planned my life like weeks in advance, so I was yeah. That's how I operate. So
But that's pretty cool though for people who might forget, or who don't, have that sense of organization. So the other things that I think are also important is, even putting a flag out in front of your house, whether it's a pride flag, whether it's a no kings flag. I think you can also find out, how can you volunteer in your community? I think in the environment that we're in right now, kindness, cultivating kindness and doing things for your neighbor and being involved in your community is an act of resistance. We're trying to resist a platform based on fear and hate. So I think anything that you can do to combat that is important.
Yeah, you know
Um,
that the big a good example of that is like and you know this exclusively is like they changed some funding for my son's school, and
right.
he lost out on a summer work program, and so some people in the community, when they heard about that, they came together and they basically created a work program for him, and it was kind of like, you know, a way to kind of like lift people's spirits where he was, where you know where he was doing everything he was doing, and a way for, you know, again, just that stuff like that is in its own way, even though it's small scale, nothing is too small.
For
Nothing is too
instance,
small.
I think nothing is too small, and it's easy to look at this list or the table and say, okay. But you know what? Progress is being made. I think we're
Yes.
seeing uh, flailing from the current administration because progress is being made and people are waking up. And if I had $1 for every time I talk to or hear about a MAGA supporter who's like, yeah, no more. I'm not doing it anymore. And
Yeah.
Aaron, I think I tagged you on a story that I saw a friend share on Threads about that. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is powerful. Um, Also, we're going to start talking about midterms. We're going to take a week off. We're going to take a break next week. I'll probably post a recording or some shorts or something. But we're going to start talking about the midterms. I'm working on a list of who's running in this, every Democrat who is running in every state
Yeah.
for a national office.
And make sure you pay attention. I mean, you know, Texas is they're trying to gerrymander some of their representatives so that they have more Republican representatives. California, in response, is
Yes, I
overhauling
posted
theirs to get rid of. So
yeah,
I mention all that because, you know, I don't give a I don't give a fuck how the Republicans are like that. You know, it's time for us to take the gloves off, and I'm like, if this has been y'all with the gloves on, I'm guessing taking the gloves off is what, like fucking people getting murdered in the streets. Like it's an insane thing for them to say. Uh, on the flip side, I think it is finally good to see that that Democrats are finally starting to realize that we
yeah.
can't play fair. We have to play by their rules.
I want to
Um,
re-articulate the story because I don't know that you made it clear.
yeah, sorry.
So Texas is gerrymandering the districts to eliminate, they're working to try and eliminate Jasmine Crockett's district.
Yeah, there's like 3 seats they're trying to get rid of.
They're trying to get rid of 3 Democratic seats. And Gavin Newsom said, game on, that if that's how they're going to be, he didn't say he was, but he did say game on, that he can redistrict and eliminate 9 Republican seats. And that he's also encouraging other, Democratic states to do it. Is there a winner here? I do not know. But
Somebody did the somebody somebody did the math, and if every blue state were to do it, then Democrats would basically win the House with like 235 to 210, I think.
okay. We don't know if that'll ever happen, but we are going to start talking about midterms.
Yeah.
So just be warned. And we're going to talk about, where to vote, how to vote, make sure you're registered, particularly with is it the Save Act that is going to make it harder for women to register with their uh, married name if it doesn't match, if they don't have if they don't have a
Yeah,
pass.
so
Yeah, we're going to have to research that.
yeah, cuz I've heard
Okay,
yeah.
so, yeah. So we want to leave this on a high note. Aaron's getting ready to go see his
Yeah,
dog.
so my for those that don't know, I mean, I was in the Marines for 10 years. I am what I would call a true patriot. I love this country, and that's why I think it's really important to stand up against the current administration because they're just, in my opinion, they're destroying. They are a poor representation of the ideals.
When you said because, it's like, okay, we don't have time for the whole list.
Yeah, that's why I try. That's why I try to summarize it.
You did.
And then my children have decided that that's, you know, one of them has decided that that's what they want to do. And she graduates this week coming up. We're gonna go drive out to where she's graduating from, and we're gonna go pick her up, and we're gonna see her graduation, and we're really excited about it. And
If I don't get 10 pictures at least, I will be
you
cold.
get 0 pictures. I'm sending all videos. I'm just
Oh, I'll
She's
take
like,
videos.
he had me in the first half.
Right, you had me when you said videos. I'm okay. I'm in.
No, yeah, I will do my best because obviously we're gonna be really busy. We're gonna be really excited. I'm gonna do my best to try and get us, pictures
You know
and videos.
what though? That's what I love about our family is like even when I came to see you guys last year, it was like it was all over, and we're like, did anybody take pictures of this?
No, and I
No.
mean it's
We ended up. I was there like a week, and we ended up with like 5 pictures or
yeah,
some
but
stupid.
we've always been very live in the moment people, and so pictures have never been our big strong suit at all.
No, no, it's true. So,
Yeah,
all right. Well, I think we've covered the thing. So many.
many things. Yes.
And, I just think it's important that we, leave on a high note. And so I'm real proud of Gabby.
You're, you're good.
Sorry,
No,
was that
it's fun.
okay?
Yeah.
So proud and proud of y'all. Y'all are great parents, and
I could tell why you paused. I'm like, I mean, I think I said her name, and then
I think you have to.
I say
The
Elizabeth's
minute,
name all the time. I mean,
yeah, the minute I paused, I thought, oh, I think he said her name before.
yeah,
Anyway, okay. Anyway, this is great. This is good. And,
yeah,
another weekly talk. I'm going to miss next week, though.
yeah. I know.
Oh,
I can't help you with a live stream, but if you want to record a video and put something up, I
right. Oh, I can live stream all by myself, but I think I'll take a week off too. So, all right, folks, thanks for joining us. And until we get together again, bye for now.
Bye.